got to really thinking about it, yeah, I deserved it. I went out and did exactly what he told me not to do. When I disobeyed, I got punished. I didn't like punishment. And when I disobey God, Yahweh, I don't like that punishment either. Believe me, I don't. But you know what? I'd rather for him to punish me than for me to lose my soul in hell. Because when he punishes me, I know he loves me, and he's trying to get me to come back in alignment with him. I know that he loves me so much that he's not just willing to let me go and walk away. He's willing to try to intervene and try to every way he can to say, Barbara, come back and get in line. You've either said something you shouldn't have said, or either I've done something that I shouldn't have done. I'm 68 years old, and I've done a lot of things to get myself in trouble with God. Especially being a teenager. Especially being a teenager. And where is God whenever somebody kills somebody? He's right there. Holding that person that's dying. Loving them. When those planes flew into the tower, and so many died at once because of the wrath of men. You know, man brings destruction upon men. And God is always there. But my question is to anybody that says, well, why didn't he just stop it? Well, you know what? He could have. He really could have. But then he would have been breaking his own law. Self-will thing. You need to think about that. Self-will causes people to do bad things to other people. Not God. When people let Satan come into their life to the point that they don't no longer know what's right and wrong, they no longer seem to care what's right and wrong. All they care about is what they believe and what they want to believe, because that's why those men flew those planes into those buildings that day. I sat there and watched it. I cried. I prayed for every one of their families that was losing loved ones. And I was praying just before the towers fell, Father, get as many out of there as you can. Let them find a way out. And do you know there was people that come out of there and they didn't even realize, they don't know why they come out of there. It was like someone come and took their hand. I heard a testimony of this one lady that said it was like someone took my hand and led me out of this. What magic? Ooh, I rebuke that in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, right now, because there ain't no magic about God. God is God. God is Jehovah. There's no magic about him. There's no magic formula, no magic wand, no magic at all. That's what Satan tries to use. That's what Satan tries to use to fool you and to defeat you into this magical junk that they're coming up with. Magic of any kind, sort, or form is of Satan. It is. See, God don't have to use spells and incantations and stuff like that. All he has to do is speak the words. Hello, JD. All he has to do, speak the words, and it happens. No magic to it. No Harry Potter wand waving thing, you know. No. All he has to do is speak the word, and there it is. It becomes visible. He can speak the word, and the invisible can become visible. I don't watch anything or have anything to do with magic. I learned a hard lesson about that, because when I was younger, I thought it's all neat to read all these nifty books about magic, you know, stories sort of related to Harry Potter, but older. And I really liked those books, and I got into them until one day, the Father really rebuked me and condemned me for doing that. He says, do you not know who I am? Do you not know who you live for? Why follow the things of this world and of Satan when you say you cling to me? Magic has nothing to do with the realm of spiritual righteousness in him. I think it was the most horriblest thing that could have happened when the Harry Potter books were written and the movies come out. Horrible thing. And people don't realize that the woman that wrote them is a white witch. I've seen her on a talk show, and she was talking about white witches and dark witches, and white witches are good and they try to help people. The dark witches are evil and they try to... Excuse me. A witch is a witch. I don't care if she calls herself white. I don't care if she calls herself the satanic. They're evil. They're evil. They are giving themselves unto Satan. And this white witch, how do you think that she come up with all the stories that she come up with? They were not coming from the mind of Yahweh into her. They were coming strictly from Satan. And that's why they become #1 seller. That's the reason why the world grabbed onto them and wanted to make movies of them and put the books in school, saying, wonderful, the kids read them, and kids need to have books to read. What does our children have to have satanic type books to read in school? I don't think so. There are so many books already written out there, that good books that kids could read, and not the Harry Potter ones. We are to walk in His image. If we say that we believe in Him and accept His Holy Spirit upon us and through us, we are to resist the devil so he will flee from us. Now, you know, that woman that wrote that book, I still pray for her that she gets saved, that she gives her heart to God, that somehow or another that she can overcome that evil, and that she can come out of that. Because there have been professing witches and warlocks and all of them that have come out of the occult and gave their life to Yeshua and become a mighty blessing to people by cautioning them against some of their rituals and things that they would do. I desire to pray for her and pray for her to become saved. And I'll tell you what, if she ever comes to Yeshua, Jesus Christ, and becomes saved, she will want every one of those books destroyed. And I have to tell you that God has us on His mind all the time. He created us. And don't ever fool yourself that He isn't watching us right now. Right this minute. Right this second. Right here. Right now. He is here. He is watching us. He is watching every word that is being said. And I am held accountable for every word I say. And I want to give all the praise and glory to Him. And honey, if you're living in a great valley of darkness, or anyone out there, there is always a way out. He will let that light of Yeshua, Jesus Christ, shine into the very blackest pit where you can be, and I've been there. Thank you, Sky, for coming by. But I've been, when all this stuff was going on with my ex-husband and the church turned against me, and I went and I would cry bitter tears because I loved the group that I was in. And I loved those people that turned against me. But I felt like I was in a deep, dark hole. And I could see no way out. I would look up and I could just see nothing. All darkness. And I got word one day. I said, Father, I'm really tired of living like this. And He began to talk to me. And He let me know that He loved me and wanted me back. He wanted me to know. And do I think He's real? Okay. I'm going to tell you about an experience that I had at 7 years old. I was laying in the bedroom, and my bed was where I could look out the window eastwardly. And I remember this as plain as if it happened last night. I looked out the window and I mean, the stars looked like they were right there, you know, really close to the earth. And I raised out my hand and I thought, you know, I could touch those stars. So, now that's alright. If he calls me Granny, that's alright. I am Grandma. I'm a great-great-grandma, so thank you, brother. Yes, I'll be your grandma. But all of a sudden I heard this voice say, Barbara, are you awake? Well, I knew it was my daddy's voice. And my daddy was the only man in the house, so, you know, I didn't say anything. I'm like, ooh. And again, it said, Barbara, are you awake? Well, that's when I pulled the covers over my head. I thought, okay, I'm going to pull the covers over my head. I'm 7 years old, you know. If I pull the covers over my head, that'll get rid of that. And then it said again, Barbara, just like that. Barbara, are you awake? Well, at that time, I knew it was serious, and I started screaming for my daddy to come. And my dad said, no, come on in here. Well, I got up, and I was scared to open my eyes, but I got my hands out in front, and I went. All of a sudden, someone took a hold of my hand, led me through the dining room, around a heating stove that had wood in it, that was burning and very hot. It was a big stove. Around that stove, into my daddy and mama's bedroom. And my dad made a pallet for me on the floor. And I was laying on the floor, and I had my hands crossed like this. And I seen Jesus, Yeshua, walk through the wall behind me, and he come and he stood at my left-hand side. His robe went across my left elbow. I could see that he had sandals on. I began to look upward, and his garment was snow white, and he had a gold belt on, gold-like belt around his waist. And then I looked on up, and his face was so, it was just glorious. I mean, it was just, that's the only words I can say, glorious. And this is the words he spoke to me. Barbara, I have called you to be a last day prophet. I have called you to be my prophet to the world and tell them about me. And I fell asleep. I didn't see him leave. I just fell asleep. And for days, I could feel that robe laying across my elbow. I could feel it like it was still there. Now, he didn't call me to be a last day prophet to go out and curse and doom people to hell or pray people to hell. He said he wanted me to tell everyone about him. So when you say, do I know there's a God? Yes, I do. Without a shadow of doubt, I heard his voice. When you ask me, is there any such thing as Jesus Christ? Yes, I know. I saw him. He spoke to me. Why? I don't know. Why? I don't know. But I do know that he is who he is. He is who he says he is. I've been blessed that I don't have to doubt like some people do. I seen him. I heard him. I know who he is. And he knows who you are. And he wants me to tell you that he's standing there at the door knocking, continuously knocking, 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 saying, let me come in. He's wanting you to understand he loves you with such a love that he was willing to come and be born as a baby, like we are born as a baby. He was willing to grow up as we had to grow up. He was willing to take on that sacrificial lamb and become that lamb for us, that we may be saved and not have to perish and not have to pay that penalty. We don't have to pay that penalty for our sins. He's already paid it. All we have to do is accept it. That's all we have to do, is say, yes, I accept this gift that you are giving me and you gave me. Yes, I accept that gift that you took you to the cross because you did it for me so I would not have to go. That's who I am called to be. I don't even try to call myself a prophet, really, because it seems like there are so many people out there that say, I'm a prophet, and then right this next minute they turn around and curse you to hell. My job isn't to curse you to hell. My job in serving him and what he called me to do is not to pray condemnation over you. My job is to tell you how much he loves you and he wants you, no matter what sin you're in, no matter what you're doing right now, this minute, this second. He's looking at you and he's holding his arms out ready for you to come to him. And don't you ever let anybody say that it's a make-believe thing or it's not true, because I'm telling you, Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, liveth. He's alive today, right now, this minute, waiting for you. He wants to hear from you so that he can forgive you and take you in his arms and protect you. That is my job that he gave me to do. Not to condemn people, but try to lead you into the path of righteousness. Okay. You know what? I can't prove anything. Honestly, I really can't. I just know because I've heard, I saw. And you see, I love you enough, no matter what sin you're in, to come and tell you what he told me to tell you. And let's put it this way, and don't let Satan deceive you. If you're born, you're in sin. You still have to accept him. You have to accept him. Because, see, he is the judge. He is the judge. I'm not the judge. He is the judge. And if you think you don't have any sin, then that's a lie of Satan trying to trick you and thinking that nothing that you've done. We've all sinned. We've all sinned and come short of the glory of God. Don't let Satan try to fool you with good feeling things about, oh, God wouldn't do that. God has to do that. God has to judge us. God has to do what he says he will do, or he becomes a liar. And I know that he's no liar. He tells you what he wants you to know. He tries to trick you. He tries to, every way in the world, to blind your eyes, deafen your ears to the true word of Yeshua, Jesus Christ. He tries to bring you into the knowledge that he died for you and he loves you. And Satan tries to deceive you and trick you that you will walk away. And yes, I do know PG. And I will not have anybody talking bad about him. So if you're one of those, I'm sorry. No discussion on that man, because I like him and I think he lives what he preaches. So anyway, back on the topic. We need to know who we really are. We are created for his glory, to have a kingdom with him, in him. He has created it for us. I just read a verse where he said that he created everything for him and by him. Yes, I'm talking about Pastor George, okay? Yes, love is blind. We both do. I mean, there's a lot of people out there saying a lot of bad things about that man. I'm telling you right now. They're wrong. And if you happen to hear things bad about Pastor George, it's all coming from an almighty wind thing. And if anyone believes even half of what almighty wind says, well, I'm sorry. Don't judge my name. Well, no, I'm not judging your name. I'm not judging you at all. I'm just saying that if you are one of those, well, I don't want to hear any discussion against Pastor George. I just won't. Period. At all. Because I wouldn't even let you go and talk about Benny Hinn. And I see a lot of things wrong with Benny Hinn, but this is not what this site is about. It's about you coming to know him. You to know him, Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ.